Good morning, travelers. It is day 11. We are in Visby, Sweden, and we're doing the hop-on, hop-off bus, so it's about time for us to go and get some breakfast. I'll let you know how it goes. Hello, travelers. This is not what I expected to be talking about, but there is an issue. So I got back from Visby, and it was, probably 2 o'clock-ish, and went back to my room, started feeling really cold. Did this yesterday, too. And I got so cold that the only way to get rid of it was to take a hot shower, a very hot shower. And then I felt better. Happened again today, and I thought, could this be a fever? Well, turns out I tested positive for COVID. It is going around the ship. My dad has it. My stepmother has it. I think that's all in our group right now, but there were people talking in one of the Shorex groups the first couple of days, talking about how someone in their party tested for COVID. One of the things I found rather disturbing, my dad caught it, and they tested him because he had a fever. And then they didn't want to test my stepmother, who's sharing a cabin with him, because she didn't have any symptoms yet. And so they didn't put restrictions on her. And so she's, doing all the things that you do when you're trying to care for someone who's not feeling well. And I don't know if she was wearing a mask out and about, but it's one of those things where if they don't put these precautions in place to tell people who have been exposed to at the very least mask up, that it's going around the ship. And it's going around the ship. So, yeah, the medical center opens up at 4 p.m. It is 3:35 right now, and I'm going to go down and get officially tested just in case, my COVID test isn't as good as it could be. I don't know. But may as well, get their test. And I know they're giving out Paxlovid, and they gave that to my dad, and I think they gave it to my stepmother as well. And since I have other cruises coming up pretty soon, and the last time I got COVID, it flattened me for 3 weeks, I would really like to see if the antiviral will help. Right now, my only symptom is that I have a fever. It came down some when I took the Tylenol to see if that would help it. My friend actually went on shore and got me a thermometer because I didn't have a thermometer, and I had no idea what my fever might be. And so, yeah, I still had 100.8, so almost 101 even after the Tylenol. But that's all I have right now, so I'm hoping that it will be a mild case, and I'm going to be spending quality time in my cabin, I guess. Okay, I have gone down to the doctor's. So for the whole, how this is working, mentioned before, I have COVID and tested positive with it was one of the Binax home tests that I used. And it went positive pretty quickly. There was no hesitation for that little line to show up. Anyway, so I called down to medical. They have a non-emergency line, which was 4400. I actually called the front desk to find out what the non-emergency line was, because I certainly don't want to call 911 when this is not an emergency. And they gave me 4400 to call, so when they opened up, I called them and told them I had tested positive for COVID. And she asked me a series of questions about, how I was feeling and what symptoms I was experiencing and how long I had been experiencing those symptoms, and mentioned Paxlovid as an option, and asked me what medications I was on and everything, because there's a lot of interaction concerns with that medication. And yeah, they sent me up a flyer that listed all the the medications that are most commonly a problem for that particular medication, and sort of the side effects and potential problems, so I'd have, enough information to be able to make a call on whether or not I wanted to do it. She said it was $150, and plus the consultation with the doctor, because it has to be prescribed. So I went over everything, and and in the meantime, to tell you how efficient this is, I got a call from room service saying, we understand you're in isolation, because of course she did tell me I have to be in isolation. And I said yes, and they said, well, we have a menu that we can bring you so that you can order off the menu and decide what you want for dinner. And so they delivered it they slid it's just a little 2-pager. It's the main dining room menu, and they slid it under the door, and then they called back, a little bit later after I'd had time to look at it, and wanted to know what my order was going to be for dinner. However, I had already just had a sandwich that my friend had delivered, that he had gone and picked up from the International Cafe for me. And so I just had that, which, it's a combination of lunch and dinner, because I hadn't had anything to eat. And I wasn't hungry for dinner, so I said that I would skip dinner tonight. And they also offered me beverages if I wanted them. And he had also brought me a couple of sodas, so I wouldn't run out of things to drink, although I probably will ask them for water. Anyway, I called her back. They close at 6. I called her at about 5:30 because she said she was going to call me, but I didn't get a call, and I was concerned they were going to close soon. And I confirmed that, yes, I do want the antiviral, and she said, okay, well, you have a mask, and I do have a mask. And she had me come down to the medical center so that I could have the consult with the doctor and pick up the medicine. And so she took my blood pressure, and it was a little wonky. Apparently the virus can do that to it, so she wasn't concerned, and they made sure my blood ox was okay, and the things they normally would do, and then had me fill out something with all of my symptoms, and there was a whole lot of symptoms you could say yes or no to, but luckily I don't have most of those, because it wasn't COVID specific, it was all kinds of stuff. But anyway, one of the things that they do have is a little tiny checkbox at the bottom of one of those forms that says you would like a copy of your medical records for a nominal fee for insurance. And since I have travel insurance, I will absolutely be getting reimbursed with this. So yeah, I'm going to be submitting a claim, and I was glad to see that that was something I could do. And the doctor came in, and he did an exam. Let's see, his exam consisted of having me take the mask off, use a tongue depressor, look at my swollen glands, and then he listened to my breathing. And he reviewed the medications I was on and said that, yes, it was compatible with Paxlovid, and also gave me Tylenol and, oddly enough, some prescription lozenges. It was funny because the guy later who came in to explain everything after the doctor had left was like, okay, you're allowed to take up to 4 of these a day. Now, just so you know, if you take 8 of them, you'll wind up with diarrhea. So don't overdo it. I was like, okay, I don't want that. And then they gave me Tylenol because all I had was Excedrin, and they like Tylenol better to control a fever than the Excedrin combination. Although I will say the Excedrin combination works a bit better on headaches, and I have a headache from this. Anyway, so the other thing, which I found very strange, they had me walk down to, the medical bay, wearing a mask, of course, but they had me just walk down. They had me escorted back to my cabin. Just, to make sure that I didn't go wandering about, I guess. And, at first they came in with a wheelchair, and I looked at that, and I'm like, I don't need that. And he's like, okay, well, we'll just walk you back to your cabin. And he took me in the service elevator. And that was kind of fun. And I've never been in those before. But yeah, I got back to my cabin, and now I'm back here, and I get to be here until they release me from isolation. Oh well, I'll let you know how it goes. Solo Sue signing off.